Coming up next on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell, my co-hosts Win Tweedow and Ron Richards. We got a lot to talk about. We usually do. Starting with free GSuite. If you have the GSuite legacy accounts, it turns out Google's going to do you a solid and you're going to get that free account once again. Also, Play Billing is getting kind of spicy in a number of different court battles. The Amazon Fire 7 tablet finally gets some really needed upgrades. Assistant finally comes to the Galaxy Watch 4, and beware the rapidly oxidizing Pixel case. Plus your email and a whole lot more next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Checkout.com. Modern businesses need flexible payment systems that can help them adapt to change, grow, and scale fast. Discover how Checkout.com can help your business thrive at Checkout.com/Android. Hello, welcome to All About Android. This is episode 579, recorded on Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Win Tweedow.
And together we are All About Android.
We can do it. We can do it together.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I need to work with Burke on the fireworks. You know, they didn't go off like I expected. Yeah.
Sorry.
Next time.
Fire.
Next time. You missed your cue. Well, it's okay.
I did.
You've got the news bumper that you can nail to make up for it.
We'll see.
We'll see about that.
It is. I feel like this week is a come down after last week's party, right?
I know, right?
That was
very chill.
Yeah. Last week there was just so much news, so much information that we had to get through, and it was a longer episode. And actually, this week there was a decent amount of news. We got some good stuff to talk about. Not a whole lot about Google I/O, like bits and pieces, maybe a little bit, but yeah, we got some stuff. It is hard to come down from the news avalanche that is Google I/O week. That's just one of those weeks, and there's only really a couple of those particular types of weeks throughout the year that this podcast is, can be really kind of challenging in planning it out and figuring out, how we cram it all into an hour and a half. Today will be a little bit different. I think we can cram today's show into an hour and a half. So let's do it. Burke, right. I hope you're ready to press this button. Don't press the fireworks button, though, because that would be weird at this point. Press the button for the news bumper because it's time for the news. Good job.
So I've decided to backtrack on my commitment to excellence on Android news.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, fine.
Oh, wow. All right.
That's good.
Okay.
That's some good news.
Backtrack on that commitment to excellence. I didn't even know there was a commitment to excellence.
Look, in this show, there has never been a commitment to excellence.
This is all news to me. So, all right. Well, speaking of backtracking, if you are a legacy GSuite account holder, you've probably been following this story as I have, because the legacy GSuite Google account owners with free accounts. Listen, you all can put down your pitchforks, all right? Relax. Google had essentially backtracked on its plans to start charging for its decades-old free accounts or risk losing all of that accumulated email data. Now Google is offering a support page that allows non-commercial owners of these accounts to continue using the account for free and bypass the forced transition to Google Workspace. So if you're one of these folks, you want to check your G Suite admin panel to confirm your account is for personal use. If it is a business account, you'll still need to pay, of course, as you should, because you're a business and there are expenses and that sort of thing.
Point. Yeah.
If you already started paying for Google Workspace based off Google's previous announcements, I clicked away, you should contact support and they will rectify it for you. So get in touch with support. They'll help you out there. And this needs to be done by June 27th or you will be billed for your workspace. So you've pretty much got a stay of execution here. You got a month to go check your G Suite account, make sure it's set to personal, get everything set. If for some reason it's set to business, it shouldn't be business, get in touch with support, let them help you, and they'll manage this transition. It has been a bumpy ride in this transition for sure, hasn't it? So.
Yeah. So all this is just parked on a support page. I wonder if these the folks who are impacted by this are getting emails or some sort of communication.
I would have to imagine because
I would hope so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because we got so many communications about the transition as it is, so I should hope that they would be proactive in communicating this. So
Yeah.
I swear I got a Workspace email this week sometime, but seeing as how I was a chump, but I mean, to be honest, I use my now Workspace account for like my personal business stuff. So I'm paying $6 a month, which is not bad, but I think I did get an email about Workspaces this week, but I did not read it since they already got money out of me. So
You've moved on.
I've moved on.
You've accepted the consequence.
I've my $6 a month consequence, which is not that bad.
No, it's not really that bad. But it is nice to see Google, kind of listen to the people who were upset, and I think rightfully so. I think anybody who has had that free account. Well, I guess I'm kind of two minds of it. Anybody that's had that free account for so long, like. Yeah, you got it for free, but be grateful that you got it for free for as long as you did. But then at the same time, maybe that was those people, they expected that to always be that way because Google really never told them it wouldn't be, so maybe Google needs to do a better job of signaling that in advance, or I don't know. But
that's the thing. I don't think Google had any intentions of charging this when they rolled it out. I mean, like Google has cultivated this environment of like, we built all this cool stuff and come get it for free.
Yes,
and that's in its infancy, and now we're in the maturity stage of the company, and it's like, and things are starting to now get charged for, and that's a tough transition to make.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So there you go. If you are impacted, you have a way to continue to get it for free. So there you go. Yeah. Your pitchforks can be sheathed again. Put them in their storage shed and hope you never have to pull them out again, Burke. At least I hope that. Google and Match Group. Okay, so we talked a few weeks ago about the kind of growing brouhahas. I love that word. Any chance I get to say that word, go ahead and throw it in there. Around Google billing and how Google basically has the requirement for developers to use Google's billing system right now. Although, you still have a few weeks, I think, before they totally shut things down on your app in the Play Store, if you're not using their billing and you're using your own billing. So it's like the rule is being enforced right now, but here in a couple of weeks, things are going to get ugly because people are going to get removed if they're not. Well, a couple, we've talked in the past about a few examples, Bandcamp being one of them. Match Group is another. And they own, sites like Tinder, OkCupid, a couple of other dating apps, who are basically coming back and saying, hey, this isn't fair. We don't agree. We don't co-sign Google. We want to be able to use our own payment methods, and we, want to refuse to pay to use yours. Problem is, if they refuse to use Google's, of course, they run the risk of their apps being completely removed from the Play Store, and especially on apps like these with millions upon millions of users, they don't want to risk that, of course. So Match Group filed a complaint against Google in court for, quote, strategic manipulation of markets, broken promises, and abuse of power in requiring Match Group to use Google's billing system to remain in the Google Play Store. So that's their charge. They said that Google is abusing its market power, and that's, in a way that forces developers to use its billing system. And of course, along the way, using the billing system means it has a price tag. 30% of the profits go in Google's pocket. Google has come back with some of these who are raising objections, especially if they have large amounts of users, and saying, okay, we'll take 10%. How's that? And that's, not good enough, as at least in the case of Match Group. Match Group requested a preliminary injunction to keep its app on the Play Store during this court battle. And this week, Google agreed to, at least temporarily anyways, continue to allow Match Group to use its own billing system. There were some attached arrangements with that, like like Match Group has to keep something like $40 million in escrow while this is sorted out. But the court case is set for April 2023. So this just kind of shows that, a little bit of resistance is kind of putting some chinks in the armor of Google and its plan to move everybody over to the billing system. And I can't help but think that in light of this, there's going to be more of this because this kind of, in some ways, shows a weakness on Google's side. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do you think, Win? Because I mean, this obviously, and you've talked about this before. You've talked about how this impacts developers, but what do you think about that like leeway that seems to be happening here?
Well, it's so confusing because, with Match Group and with like other, like Epic and Deezer are part of this like coalition for app fairness, which is like a bunch of folks saying like, hey, like we want to support the Open Markets Act, which is like in Congress right now, which is about kind of loosening the grip that Apple and Google have on app stores and allowing for more third parties. Like, it's just, I think this is a good thing. It's so contentious, like watching the two of them kind of like give their own perspectives on like what this means. It's a little confusing though, because like on top of that, we have like Spotify in the pilot program of the user choice billing. So yeah, like there's some choice, but it's so confusing to me. It's so freaking confusing to me. I want to see some progress on this, and I'm kind of with Match Group on this one, and I like seeing people push back, and I'm glad to hear about things like the Open Markets Act, I think that's what it's called, and the Coalition for App Fairness kind of pushing back on it. But it's just freaking confusing. It just feels like a landmine sometimes, especially when you're a smaller developer. Yeah, and without at an established company with their own legal department to catch these things and handle these things. It's just a confusing, minefield of like, how do we not get removed from the App Store on top of everything else that people have to worry about normally, like other stipulations and rules that we have to follow every day. So, I mean, I guess good on Match Group for fighting the good fight. And I guess in a sense, like, I wouldn't say good on Google, but it kind of does show that there is room for the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like that Google's like, fine. Like we'll put a hold on your ban because obviously Match Group and apps like Tinder are huge and very visible apps. So I'm for a scrappy fight with this kind of thing because I mean, obviously there's a lot of big companies and a lot of big especially a lot of big like subscription-based companies that are generating a lot of like revenue that are not happy with the way things are. So good. Good. Let's keep it going.
I hate to be the devil's advocate here, but I don't know. I feel like and I'm not, by no means am I really defending Google, but I guess I am defending Google because it's like their policies are their policies and companies can choose to play or not, right? You have that choice, right? Like, I don't know. I just like, it doesn't, I feel like it shouldn't have to be a fight. Which is just above everything, right? Like you never want it to come to it being a fight and that sort of situation. But at the same time, Google doesn't. I mean, like Jason, I think to your point where it shows a weakness or whatever, just because it's like Google's allowed to set their own policies, and companies can choose whether they want to play them or not. So
I totally get it. I also don't like the fact that, I mean, the way that things work with Google, especially the Play Store, is that I think if it was like equal treatment for everyone, I'd feel a little bit less stinky about it. But the fact that it's 30% off the top, and hey, if you're a large partner, then we kind of have to listen to you, or we'll give you a better rate if it's worth our time to. So that kind of feels icky to me.
I totally agree.
I think it's fair. Like I think there is like,
that's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I get what your point is, Ron, too. Is like, this is their. I mean, they made this. They're making this space. It's like their technology. So I get it, but I don't know. It's also kind of a little bit of it's like a cool kids table, I guess. Like, yeah, and if you're not part of the cool kids table, then 30% please. Otherwise, hey, like Spotify and stuff, we'll give you like 10%, 5%. I forgot what the Spotify.
I think it was 10%. Yeah,
it was like 10%. I was like, hey, that's like way better than 30%. Whereas the rest of us here who are trying to make it on our own are a little more. I can't think of a good phrase for this, but like being charged 30%. So it's not easy, and I don't like that. And especially being at a place where we are a partner, I kind of like my employer is and Trello has been like a partner in the past. Like I can see like where that's beneficial, and I'm like, well, it's a good thing we're a partner. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling that, oh, thank goodness I am, but think about all the thousands of developers that aren't. So,
yeah. And I want to thank real quick here, Scooter X in the chat room, who also posted a link to a story yesterday that Epic Games Bandcamp also temporarily won the right to use its own payment system. So this is, they're kind of happening concurrently. These two cases are happening simultaneously. Same issue, different companies, and in both cases, they are given the ability to continue to use their own payment system, at least in the near term, until this all plays out in court.
I still think I will not get used to Epic Games' Bandcamp.
Yeah, I know. That's a hard one. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Well, what's so funny is that talking about that is that as somebody I've used Bandcamp for years.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know if we talked about it on the news on the show or not, Jason. But when Epic bought Bandcamp, had a great conversation with a bunch of friends of mine about it because everyone was like, "Why is Epic buying Bandcamp?" and blah blah blah. But then someone pointed out that a couple of people pointed out that their kids discover new music in Fortnite and in Roblox. Right. And so the fact that there are music events in those games now, it makes sense that Epic would, so the Epic Bandcamp acquisition did make more sense. And also given what, Epic is doing in the Play Store and Apple and stuff like that, having another source of e-commerce revenue, kind of thing is interesting. So I don't know. That's funny. So I don't know. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Match Group did create a site if you want to kind of see a little bit more about what they are, kind of their side of all of this. They create a site called endthegoogletax.com.
So spicy.
I know, super spicy.
That, yeah.
But they do point out there are on one hand it is Google's sandbox. Google can, kind of do what they do. And kind of to your point, Ron, companies can either choose to play that game or not. But one of the points that they make is, Google's in-app billing system really doesn't offer everything that we need. And this is actually something that Epic Games brought up around Bandcamp as well. Match Group says, they don't offer bundles. They don't offer subscriptions and installments, special offer options. And they also called out Google customer service as inferior to their own, which, it's kind of like, yeah, I am, you're not, or whatever. But, so there are other than I want more money, I want to keep all the money. There are other reasons as well why someone might not want to have to be forced to use Google's billing system. So, there's that. So we'll certainly be, keeping an eye on this as both of these cases and whatever other cases that haven't launched yet happen as we go down the road. All right, Wynn, you have a fun one.
I got a fun one. And in a little bit more positive note, Material U on Android 12 has been awarded a very prestigious design award, the IF Gold Design Award. So for those of you who aren't familiar, like me, before I looked this up, the IF product, I'm sure it's IF and not IF, but the IF Product Design Award was actually introduced in 1954. It has its roots in the Hanover, Germany Fair Industrial Trade Exposition, which originally was for highlighting German design. But today it's basically kind of like a design award that receives over 5,000 entries every year from 59 countries around the world for different industries. So you have categories like electronics, home, office, architecture, packaging, even more industrial type stuff, and communication, which is where Material U on Android 12 and specifically on the Pixel 6 has won this gold award. Other products that we might mention on the show that have also won a gold badge this year are the AirPods Max and the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and the iPhone 13. So kind of in this space, you can kind of see what kind of, products win this award. And Material U in specific was noted for its consistency and flexibility, as well as being called out for its user-centered approach, being responsive to the needs and wants of the users, basically, the kind of updated design of Android 12, which, is controversial. You might love it, you might hate it. But again, you can't deny that there is an emphasis on customization and being responsive to the user's taste and having a more coherent, more modern experience. And specifically, it does mention that the hardware and software, so the Pixel 6 and Material U were co-developed as a holistic design experience. I think it's pretty interesting that it specifically points out Pixel 6 and not just it. At first I read this oh, that's kind of cool. But then if you read closely, it is kind of the harmony of, these Google experience.
Mhm.
So I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you think the fact that the award itself calls out the Pixel 6 makes this less relevant, or is it kind of a pointer to why stock Android or kind of like the ideal Android experience matters, or is this kind of, it's cool but it's not, or do you find it irrelevant to what actual consumers use or want? What do you guys think?
Until you mentioned it, I don't think I realized that Pixel 6 was even part of this. I read it as Material U and Android 12, which makes sense. They're kind of one and the same. One is a part of the other. That is really interesting now that you mention it, that they kind of include Pixel 6 into that. Because, on any other device, like any other Pixel device that gets Android 12, they're going to get basically the same kind of functionality. So I'm curious as far as why they tie it to the 6, other than that being the phone that it launched with. So maybe that was kind of the genesis for that. But I think at the end of the day, I think they're right. Whether you like, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but whether you like Material U or not, I think there is something to be said for what Google was trying to do with it. And personally, I actually like Material U. I like what it does to the phone. I think that it's, on one hand, it might seem really basic, like other launchers have been doing it for a long time, maybe pulling colors out of images and everything, but having that happen on the system-wide scale, more and more apps kind of buying into and developing their apps to be compatible with it. I don't know. It makes for a interesting experience with Android, and we've used Android for a really long time, and it's, I don't know. It's not like I unlock my phone and I start jumping up and down. I'm so excited, but it is nice. It is fresh is what comes to mind. It's kind of a fresh take on Android. And part of that is because of the customization that happens automatically. And so, I like that. I appreciate that. And if that's what they're basing this award around, I can totally get behind that. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, I would slightly worry about a kind of a homogeneous kind of experience happening across everything, where everything starts to look and feel the same. And so, and Huyen, you could probably speak better to this, but it's up to the developers on how to take Material U and tap into it, but still give their app a identity and a presence, because I do like the sense of I'm on Android, but I'm in this app, right? And it's almost a nested experience. But but Jason, I'm with you in terms of it's been a long time with the Material paradigm, and mixing it up is nice. And I will say, I'm using my phone every day, and I have little to no complaints other than changing how I turn it off or reboot it. But whatever. It is a big switch in the year of our smartphone 2022 to have something that's Android related get a design award alongside other large platforms. I remember I think I really started on this kind of period of my Android development in 2012, and that was slightly before Lollipop and Material even came out, and the joke back then was Android design, what's that? So it's been 10 years and a long way. I do think it's interesting that it is the Pixel 6, and I think sometimes we talk about the importance of Pixel devices, and we had all those hardware announcements last week, and even though the Google hardware, it isn't really making a dent in the overall consumer numbers of percentage of the market of devices. There does seem to be an importance of how does Google envision this, and so I think that's why Pixel 6 is very interesting, because it's Google's phone, and again I think it is more, consistent across the way, but, Samsung with One UI, and then looking at, the way that, other OEMs kind of flavor Android. I think it is interesting to see that the Google branded, Google, co-developed experience has won a design award. So I think there's something to that. Also, as a developer, I just just making sure that I can just check stock Android. I don't have to look how things look on Xiaomi or Samsung, but that's not the real one. I have to check. But I do think it's interesting. And Ron, to your point, oh my gosh, I just forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. But
to your point, awesome.
To your point, about developers. But to your point, it does take developer effort to make Material U work. So I think it's a really good point that this is first party apps where this beautiful, pristine, Material U garden exists, but then you pull up your favorite app, and if they haven't, used Material U, then it's not. It's there's a break there. So I do think it's good on you. but there's like a reality and kind of like the everyday existence that's a little bit different. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. I was like, there's a really good point that Ron made that I want to check on too. It came out of my head for like 30 seconds. So, but yes.
Yeah, right on. And should point out that, as far as this award is concerned, in good company, the Galaxy Z Flip 3 also got an award this year. Mm-hmm. There it is for smartphone. I mean, that's a pretty spot on as far as, design is concerned. That's a very unique phone, and I think they did foldables pretty well. Samsung did a good job with that. AirPods Max, also iPhone 13, were just a couple of other winners.
I roll.
I roll with a lowercase I and an uppercase R.
Yeah, exactly. I roll. Yeah.
I roll. All right, let's take a break. You can eye roll all you want if you need to, but I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to thank the sponsor of this episode of All About Android. That is checkout.com. Tech should be groundbreaking. It should promote innovation. Innovation is exactly what we've been talking about the past 10 minutes. Traditional payment systems, they're heavily layered, right? They're disconnected. They're perceived as a cost center to the business. And modern businesses need flexible payment systems that can actually help them adapt to change, to grow, to scale, and scale fast. And we recently came across a company with technology that approaches payments through a radical new lens. That is checkout.com. Checkout.com is a leading digital global payment solutions provider for brands like Grab, Sony Electronics, Wise, Henkel, just to name a few. Checkout's flexible payments platform is purpose-built with performance, scalability, and speed in mind. It's ideal for businesses that are looking to seamlessly integrate better payment solutions on a global scale. We've got a dedicated team of local experts spanning 19 offices in 5 continents. Checkout.com offers a strategic partnership to help businesses improve their acceptance rates, optimize their payments performance, and grow their business globally. And you know what that means? That means more money coming in. That's what it's all about. Checkout.com exists to enable businesses and their communities to thrive in the digital economy. They deliver innovative payment solutions that actually flex to your needs. There are also valuable insights there that can help you get smart about the performance of your payments, and expertise that you can count on as you navigate the complexities of an ever-shifting digital world. And you get so many different things with checkout.com, just to name a few. Global optimization. They provide local acquiring in multiple geographies. That improves authorization rates and also lowers costs along the way. Of course, transparency. They have a very transparent fee structure. It's clear. It's straightforward. You also get in-depth reporting that gives you visibility no matter where you operate, so you know exactly what's going on. And like I said, local expertise. Their dedicated local teams bring regional, international, and regulatory expertise, which actually allows you to navigate market complexities and to do it with confidence. And finally, you get strategic partnership. They take a collaborative, personalized approach to solving complex problems for their merchants and ecosystem partners. Personally, I like the fact that the API is simple. It's incredibly flexible. It's great for developers, keeps things super simple along the way. Just makes it really easy to get in there. And they have a sandbox that you can test it out with as well. Discover how checkout.com can help your business thrive. All you got to do is go to checkout.com/Android. Pretty easy to remember, but do that because that way they know that you heard about it on All About Android. That's checkout.com/Android. And we thank checkout.com for their support of this show. Good to have you on board. All right. With that, we've got some hardware news. Let's jump in.
Oh yeah, this news is on fire.
It's on fire.
It's on fire. I guess it depends on your perspective. If you are a Fire fan, this news is certainly on fire because the upcoming Fire 7 tablet, which by the way is currently available for pre-order and will be shipping on June 29th, has both significant hardware and software updates for you. Good. So on the hardware side, now, just as a reminder, because I didn't remember, again, in the theme of like, I got to look this stuff up sometimes. The Fire 7 is the cheaper, the hyper affordable of Amazon's tablets. And before, it had a, regular old micro USB charging. Well, now
port.
The port, I know.
Set that port on fire. That's what needs to happen.
Well, they did.
Agreed.
It is burned, and like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the 2022 Fire 7 will have a USB-C charging port.
Whoa,
So
whoa, whoa.
congratulations. I know, right?
I don't
Slow
believe
down.
it. No, nothing has a USB-C port these days. That's
right?
future
Just
technology.
So cutting edge. And on top of that, you'll have, as Amazon claims, a 30% faster quad-core processor, an upgrade to two whole gigabytes of RAM, up from 1 gigabyte from the previous model, which I think was last updated in 2019.
Oh my goodness.
And an estimated, I know, it just overwhelmed with the cutting edge technology in the Fire 7. My gosh. Estimated 10 hours of browsing video watching time. Unfortunately, one less color than last time. You only get black, denim, or rose. And of course, there's going to be a ruggedized, is that a word? Ruggedized.
Yeah, ruggedized.
Yeah, ruggedized. Yeah,
It's ruggedized.
Yeah.
There you go. Kids
rugged
edition.
tablet.
A rugged tablet, kids version, because of course that comes with a year of Amazon Kids Plus, parental controls, built-in web features, web filters rather, all that. Now for the price, again, so I know we're making a lot of fun of it, but this is a hyper affordable tablet. The previous version was $49.99 USD. This new version, which does come, so the version, this 2022 version of the Fire 7, which comes with lock screen ads, is only $59.99 USD. If you want to bypass lock screen ads, it is now it is now going to be $75 USD, and the Kids Fire is a little more expensive at about $109 or $110.
That's still super affordable. Like
it is,
I know.
Yeah.
I know that Amazon will never share these numbers, but I would love to see a market share report just to truly understand what the Fire tablet's presence, is. And I would argue that it's probably one of the most purchased, I feel like it's just one of these things that Amazon has quietly kept on pumping out and kept on making available, and people go to Amazon and maybe they buy the Kindle, the e-ink reader, but maybe a lot of them buy the Fire tablet thinking it's a Kindle or whatever it is. My guess is that a lot of people have this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would guess that too. Don't have any numbers, obviously, kind of impossible to know for certain. But I mean, especially on the parent side of things, if you've got a really young child, and I say that because if your child's a little bit older, they start to know the difference, right? Yeah. If they're, later elementary, junior high, especially, they know that, like, okay, give me an iPad. Seriously, what is going on right now? But if you've got a young child, Fire Tab is actually a really great purchase, because Amazon does bundle in that extra service. The UI is something that a younger kid can figure out. And really, what are they doing other than watching some videos, maybe playing some apps? I mean, that's where I get a little bit kind of like, I'm amazed. I forgot that the Fire tablet had 1 gig of RAM. That just kind of blows me away. And 2 gigs is pretty damn paltry as well.
Yeah.
But you're not paying a lot for this tablet, so I guess.
So I will say that my gut might be either right or wrong, but I did find on a site called Statista, and Burke, I put it in the Slack. I don't know if you want it in the doc too or not, but basically it's tablet vendor shipments worldwide by quarter. And according to this, at least, it says in Q1 22, Apple led with 12.1 million tablets shipped. Samsung had 8.1 million, Lenovo 3 million, Amazon 3.7 million, and Huawei 2.2, and then everybody else had 9.2. So, according to this, at least, if this data is true, it's tablets that are shipped. Amazon is roughly the third largest tablet shipper, behind Apple and Samsung, which still is a lot. I mean, 3.7 million in the quarter is a lot. Right? So yeah.
All right. Well, and also the Fire OS that was on the previous version was based on Android 9.
Yeah.
From 2018.
And the Fire, so I got a little confused. So the Fire 7 tablet will come with Fire OS 8.
Yeah.
So Fire
There you
OS
go.
Yeah, Fire OS 7 was actually based on Android 9, which was released in 2018, which was fine because the previous was it? I think at the time. Fire OS 7 was based on Android 9, which was released in 2018, but Fire OS 8, which is going to come on the Fire 7 tablet. is going to be based on Android 11, so that gets you things like system-wide dark mode and the updates to the permission system, easier security patches from Amazon, which is really important because Google is no longer supporting updates to Android 9. So that'll be super important as you buy your Fire 7 tablets to make sure you get those good old security updates. And there's no other news on whether the other Fire tablets like the Fire HD 8, for example, are going to get this update, but I think they're based on the same chips, so probably going to be a thing. So hopefully it would be, especially as the rest of us are, moving on to Android 12 and 13, it would be really great to see, these very affordable tablets getting at least a nice bump to Android 11, especially for the privacy and security. So Fire fans, there you go. Plenty of updates for you. And, still, we're making fun, but I know we've also had a lot of kind of emails and stories about, the life of phones and not everybody being, super enthusiast buying the flagships all the time and trying to focus more on like mid to lower end devices. So I don't know. I was actually surprised. I didn't realize how cheap this tablet was. So, I mean, if you're just browsing or, doing simple media consumption, it's not a bad option at all. Not a bad option at all. And hey, USB-C charging, y'all. So, hey,
step into the future.
There you go. Step into the future.
Hey, look, you could do a lot worse. You could get an on tablet.
That's true.
Oh, dear.
No.
The fanboys and fangirls will probably email me as a result of that.
They did not. They did not rank in that vendor shipment ranking. They're in the other.
Oh dear.
So,
they're off of the chart.
Walmart was nowhere to be found. This is one area that Amazon is definitely beating Walmart. Okay. This was something that I ran across this article on The Verge, and it made me realize, like, oh yeah, this is me. The Pixel 6, you may remember, because it didn't come out that long ago to forget. But the case, the first party case that Google released for the Pixel 6 was not like the cases that Google released on the previous Pixels. You remember previous Pixels, they were like these fabric cases that I was always a pretty big fan of. I actually really liked the fabric cases.
You did? I remember that. I actually do remember that.
They were sturdy. I liked the way they felt. I felt like even if they got dirty, I mean, when they got really dirty, you could see. But, if they got a little dirty, it was really hard to see. They were kind of camouflaged a little bit from that. Well, this time around, they released the phone with the first party case being a kind of like a transparent plastic made from 30% post-consumer recyclable materials, which I can totally get behind. However, this time around, things are not weathering well on the case. And this article from The Verge made me realize that I've been noticing this as well. Basically, Pixel 6 owners that have the case are noticing rapid yellowing of the case, discoloration, kind of splotchy. I mean, I really don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera here, but I do know that when I put this case on my phone initially, it looked a lot more like the actual phone color and not like this like dirty, dingy kind of sepia tone thing that's just kind of looks gross and weird. And so I don't know. I saw that article. I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of me. How long have I had this case? Oh yeah. There you go.
Oh wow.
There's a little bit of a difference. Now wait, Burke, is this is not the same case?
Yeah.
But this is a translucent.
That's not the Google case.
It's not the Google case,
No.
but it's another example of a translucent one that actually, and also our phones are actually different colors, so it's not an apples to apples comparison. But you can kind of see like things just look a little cleaner, a little more see through. And I mean, it's not like I ever take this phone out of this case, so it's not like it gets dirty in there. No matter what with plastic, it's going to get dirty at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you buy a case, you kind of hope that doesn't happen for a while. And it turns out a lot of people with these cases are noticing that the plastic is just changing color in like not very attractive ways pretty quickly. So
I wonder if it's a fact of it being recycled. I mean,
I wonder that too.
And not to ding, like I think I love most that it's like recycled polycarbonate or like, you know, post-consumer materials, which is I think super important.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, okay, cool. But I wonder, because I wonder if it's just a factor of it being recycled, whether there's something about the second processing. I don't know. I'm not an industrial materials person, but I wonder if it's something like that.
I wonder the same. I think, I don't know the answer to that, of course, but I do wonder if that process or that material just kind of weathers poorly comparatively speaking to plastic that is completely, you know, horrible for the earth. So I don't know, but
compromises.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Like if this is better for the earth, okay, fine. It's protecting my phone. Like and I'll be honest, like I hadn't really paid close attention to it until I read the article, and you know, I mean, a part of me kind of doesn't care. It's like, okay, well, it's a case of my phone. If it gets really gross, I'll probably replace it. But for now, I'm kind of like, I'll probably stick with it.
I mean, chalk it up. Another reason why I don't like cases. So there it is.
Because they get gross. And actually, you know, when you're not using a case, you're not contributing to the earth debt.
Yes, exactly. The earth debt.
How much was that case, Jason?
I think it was $10. It wasn't expensive.
Okay. Well, mine is also a $10 case, and it's clear.
Yeah, it is. How long have you had it?
I've had it.
Is it recycled plastic?
Well, I don't. It's $10.
So no,
I don't know.
But are you helping the earth, Burke, or are you hurting the earth?
I am.
Yeah,
I am helping.
I wear these worn yellow weathered smudges with pride. Okay,
that's not what people are thinking when they see that.
No, I know. I'm getting judged. You know, outside of the show, we all understand, but out on the streets, when someone sees this, they go, "Oh,
why don't you clean that thing?"
If any of the Android faithful are, you know, depending on what your skincare routine is, sometimes that actually can kind of hasten the discoloration of things like that polycarbonate. Yeah, I have had a lot of. So short story long, long story short, I've had a lot of skin issues over the years. So I have a lot of like different medications I use because I used to have like pizza face, and anything that is polycarbonate or the similar material gets like yellow and stuff really fast. So maybe it could be also your skincare.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've noticed that a lot. So, you know, it might not just be you. You're just taking really good care of your skin and your phone case suffers for it. So if that's you, I feel you. You know what I mean? So
thank you. It's not like, you know, I don't put lotion on my hands or anything. I don't know. Maybe my hands are just like I go out working in the garden and then I come in and I check my phone and maybe that's what's happening. It's like, I don't know.
You do have well manicured fingers though.
Thank you.
It's getting weird. It's getting weird now. It's getting weird. Let's move on. So talk about getting weird. All right. Talk about getting weird. Xiaomi launched the Red Note 11T Pro and Pro Plus. So there it is. Both these phones share the Dimensity 8100 system on a chip processor. They both have a 6.6 inch 144 hertz LCD display. The Pro has an over 5,000 milliamp battery and a 67 watt wired charging, and the Pro Plus has a smaller 4,400 milliamp battery but 120 watt wired charging. And Astro Boy fans, all of you out there, all you Astro Boy fans
I heard
out there,
Burke gasp
that was audibly. Super cool. I mean,
you will want the Astro Boy special edition version of this phone, because look at it on those are our viewers who are watching the video version. Audio viewers, I'll explain to you. It is a version of this phone with Astro Boy printed on the back of the phone in a cool kind of cutaway, showing Astro Boy, and then inside the robotics that are Astro Boy. And listen, Astro Boy's cool. I'm not gonna like Astro Boy has a legit following, and so if you're into Astro Boy, you're gonna be super happy. And prices on this range from $270 to $375, and that's converted from the Chinese yuan. And it's China only for now. So Astro Boy fans outside of China, you're out of luck. And no word if it's going to go wider or if they'll go global with the Astro Boy version. So yeah.
I'm not very familiar with Astro Boy. Like I recognize the.
For the record, I can appreciate Astro Boy. It's not something that I'm into, but I like it. I like the cutaways, especially just anything.
Yeah, Astro Boy is very cool. So Astro Boy is manga, or originated in manga, and then has expanded into cartoons, things like that. But it's written by Osamu Tezuka, who is one of like the manga legends. It was originally written by Osamu Tezuka, who was one of the legendary Japanese manga writers. Through the 50s into the 80s. Yeah, very, very cool though. So So Astro Boy is awesome.
All right.
Yep.
People like the Redmi series. So I mean, it's good for its price point, especially.
And if you like Astro Boy and Tezuka's work, you might want to check out his work Buddha, which is his interpretation of Gautama Buddha, which is the founder of Buddhism. He did that from 1972 to 1983. So it's an epic work of manga. So I'll check.
Oh wow, I have to check that out.
Dang, Ron was the right person to assign that story to.
It just happens to be one of my wheelhouses.
Perfect. Love it when it works out like that. I didn't have a whole lot to say about that phone, so we got some extra mileage out of Astro Boy. All right. Coming up next in just a beat, we're going to talk a little bit about apps. No, we are not talking about beats. We're talking about apps. This is not
drop a beat though. I really wish I wish Flo was here because I feel like was it last week that she asked for this for her Galaxy Watch 4?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I think she has been. Yes.
I think she has been. And as of today, May 24th, in the year of our smartphone 2022, Galaxy Watch 4 owners can now download Google Assistant.
What?
To their Galaxy Watches. Yes.
This is something Flo has been asking for a long time.
This episode is full of stuff from the future. Like no watch has Assistant.
I know, right?
Saying jokingly for anyone who's taking me serious.
So yes, Abner Lee over at 9to5 Google has a really good breakdown about the whole process of getting it on your phone. But so if you want the long story, go ahead and check it out. But basically, if you go into your Google Watch 4, go to Google Play, under your My App list, there should be a new Assistant app that should appear. So go ahead and update that, or you can just go ahead and search for it on the OnWatch Play Store. And after downloading latest version, you'll see in your launcher the very familiar 4-color bubble Google Assistant icon. There's an activation flow that looks like it's specifically for Google Assistant on your watch, so you might have to go through that. And in addition to the hot phrase and the launcher, you can actually customize the Galaxy Watch 4's home key to activate Google with either a double press or press and hold. There are some other settings, and this is available in Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, the UK, and the US in 12 different languages. And compared to the Assistant, which was on Wear OS 2, this is supposed to provide faster than ever response times and does have an updated Assistant design, which is more reminiscent of what we see on the phone now with a little 4-color bar at the bottom that responds and kind of is reactive to your voice as you speak to the Google Assistant. So there you go. May 24th, get you some Google Assistant on your Galaxy Watch 4.
It's about time.
About dang time.
Took long enough.
Well, we finally got to the future.
All right.
And it's filled with USB-C and Google Assistant.
Samsung just, they got to be dragged kicking and screaming to like let you put Assistant on top of Bixby, in place of Bixby on devices. And I understand Bixby's their thing, and I'm sure there are people out there that actually use and like Bixby.
Find me the people who use and like Bixby. Seriously, if you are a Samsung user and you are pro Bixby, please write in and tell us. You can email us at AAA@twit.tv.
There we go.
This is a call to arms. literally, we know there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of you that listen.
There
to
are
watch
hundreds
the show.
of you. Oh,
we know there's
hundreds of
several
you who
people
like Bixby.
There are several people who might like Bixby. I have no data on this. Please email us at AAA@twit.tv. Let us know if you use Bixby, if you like Bixby, if you advocate for Bixby.
Yeah.
Or
and if
bonus
you have
points, bonus points if your name is Bixby.
Well, then you gotta like Bixby if your name's Bixby.
Well, and you live in the town of Bixby or something.
Yeah.
But I wonder. I want to see like a Google, like under like inside of the watch, whether there's like a Google Assistant versus like Bixby AI fight going on, kind of like an Age of Ultron thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're just like fighting for dominance, and then whoever wins is going to be your assistant, your watch based assistant.
Yeah, or like the only way to launch Assistant on your watch is to launch Bixby and ask Bixby to launch Assistant.
Oh my god,
that sounds fun. That's not actually the way this works, but that would be interesting nonetheless. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, there we go. So yeah, Flo's probably excited about that too. Ron, you got the next one.
I do have the next one. Yes. So sorry, I was scrolling to find the email address and I lost my spot.
Our email address is really easy, Ron. Let me tell you.
I know, but I can never remember it. That's the problem. So those of you who are Google Maps enthusiasts probably already know this, but Google Street View turned 15 years old today. Not today, but recently. So Google Street View is now solidly a teenager. And by the way, I remember when Street View rolled out, and the fact that it was 15 years ago is making me feel very, very old.
Yeah, kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like 15 years.
Yeah, oh God. But to celebrate this, Google's bringing historical Street View data to the mobile app, which is like, this is an idea that comes up that I'm shocked that somebody greenlit and was like, yeah, let's do that. So if you click into Street View mode on the Google Maps app, and then there will be a See More Dates button, that will show a carousel of older images for that same location. And the data goes back to 2007. This feature has been available on the desktop since 2014. So it's not like crazy and unique, but it's finally on mobile, so you can look at it and basically, if you ever look at those like Instagram accounts or blog sites that like show like a street corner today and what it looked like in 2007, now you can do that with the Street View archive, assuming they have the data. So.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about feeling old, just go back to the street in your hometown and then just like see how it's changed in the last. I mean, like for me, I know, there's like huge. For me, that would be it. I'd be looking at kind of like condominiums that aren't there now. So yeah, I will feel really old using this feature, but it's kind of cool. It's a massive amount of data for them to keep, though, that historical data. And I wonder, could you just imagine in like 10 years, just like the data? Oh, and there's that cute little. What was the new like Street View camera that they're?
Yeah, I didn't read a whole lot about the new Street View camera, but this is
expensive.
It looks like a little robot.
Yeah,
it kind of has a cute quality to it. It's kind of Wall-E-ish.
It looks like the black hole.
Really heavy.
Yeah, it does look heavy.
It looks like the trash can from Black Hole. What is it?
Oh yeah,
his name's Bob. Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, it does look like Bob.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, it looks way better than Bob.
Vincent and Bob.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bob
is the nice one. Vincent is the trash can. Is the trash can.
And then there's Maximilian, the awesome one.
Yeah.
So to tell you a little bit about what it actually does, other than what it just looks like, the company says it's roughly the size of a house cat. Okay, that gives you scale. It weighs less than 15 pounds, so it's actually not that heavy, Burke. The goal is to take all the power, resolution, and processing capabilities that we built into an entire Street View car, and then, as Ron Amadio writes, cram it into an ultra-portable package that can be shipped to underserved areas like the Amazon jungle.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty awesome.
It's like a portable Street View thing. Yeah, that's great. Very neat. So yeah, this feature existed before on desktop. I don't know that I've ever used it, but now it's coming to mobile. So if you want to go back in time, you can do it on your app.
Now I have that song stuck in my head, Jason. Thank you.
Go back in time.
Take me away. I don't mind. Nothing like Huey Lewis.
Nothing like Huey.
Yep.
All right. And finally, well, there you are. Are you taking us back in time? Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Oh, okay. Look, we're going back in time. Okay. Finally, I thought this feature was pretty neat. new YouTube feature that's rolling out, and I've seen it on desktop. I haven't seen it on mobile yet, but I've definitely seen it on desktop. The video player, when you're on a video, now overlays this graph over the top of the progress bar. And so you'll see these little like wavy line. And what that tells you is the steeper that curve is the more people have watched that part of the video. So it's a way when you go to a video to, maybe there's a certain tip that you're looking for. You're like, oh, okay, but the YouTuber takes 10 minutes to get there or whatever. This is just a visual indicator of where most people have watched the most of. And, you can see the other parts are kind of shallow, and then it gets really big over here. Oh, I better check out that part. And you go there and you get your tip, and it's actually really handy. It's kind of one of those features. It's like, wow, where has this been all my life? This is actually really useful. I do wonder, though, how this impacts certain things from a monetary standpoint, from like a monetization standpoint.
Right. Yeah.
This seems like a feature that has the potential to really ruin someone's kind of way that they make a living potentially. I don't know if there's actual truth to that, but it seems like if someone can skip to the middle, like, is that video then getting counted for a view, or if they get their tip in 30 seconds and then bounce because they didn't have to wait that whole time to get there, like maybe that changes monetization of this stuff. I don't know.
Can I ask you a question about this? Why aren't they showing it in the screenshot? Like, they don't even show, you can't even see what they're talking about. Any of the images on the article. Am I just imagining that?
No, you can. So go to the second image and zoom in on that, and you'll see it's a player. The title of the player is A Few Things to Know in Under 9 Minutes. And when you take a look at that screenshot, you can see there's those little wavy lines down at the bottom, right above the progress line, right?
No. I see it. You're right.
Yeah, you just didn't know what you were looking at. You could think that that's part of the actual video, but that's an overlay by Google to show. There you go. That's the peak. That's where the most people were watching. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
I felt like two ways about this. Yeah, I mean, I think for like tip videos and tutorial videos, it is one of those things where I've definitely watched, like tutorials and tips, like, can you just like get to the thing?
Get to the point. Yeah.
Get me to the thing. But I think it also depends on the kind of content it is. Like, for example, if you're more like a documentary and short film, like, experienced kind of YouTuber, this could kind of suck, especially if you kind of craft the video and you maybe have like a particularly like, I don't know, spicy or like viral part of the video and you can like miss the rest of it. And yeah, I think like you're right, Jason, the monetization thing is kind of interesting because what if people just skip ads? So then what? Like, I mean, I guess it's not really the fault of the creator, or is this going to encourage creators just to create even more fast to the point, TikTok level of attention span? Not that there's anything wrong with TikTok, but that, you know what I mean? Like it is going to start biasing.
Well, I would have to imagine that I would have to imagine that YouTube is adjusting the ad delivery mechanism to account for the whatchamacallit, the total time viewed, right? So like let's say you're gonna get hit with a midstream ad 10 minutes into it, and you skip ahead to 15 minutes into it. This is conjecture, I have no idea, but I can imagine that when you click on that point in the graph, they hit you with the ad first, and then you get to that point that you click to. Like they like ways of doing that.
Non-skippable kind.
The non-skippable. I have no idea because I have YouTube Premium and I haven't seen an ad on YouTube in years.
Neither have I. I know.
This is all conjecture, but yeah.
Well, I was more like some creators, like they have like a deal with whatever, and they actually have to have like an ad read in the middle, it's independent of like YouTube system. So if you have a creator,
right, but YouTube doesn't know. YouTube doesn't care about that. YouTube,
that's
what
true.
we do. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I don't know. I mean. The thing that came to mind when you were talking about that was the comparison between what you were saying and like musicians, that when things went digital and things got very singles based, like track based, we're all upset that like, hey, wait a minute, I craft my albums to be start to finish and I want people to listen in that order. It's like, yeah, but the technology has progressed to a point to where we don't have to do that if we don't want to. And it's kind of the same thing here. It's like the technology allows us to go wherever, so we'll go wherever.
And also rock fans despair.
What's that?
progressive rock fans despair.
Yes.
Like Yes fans and Floyd fans.
Rush and yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, that just kind of came to mind, but I think it's a neat feature, but I am curious to know how it impacts things like that. Like I think that has the potential to ruin some creators' day. And I'm sure we'll hear about that if that's the case, but YouTube's happy to roll it out. So I'm curious to know what's behind that. All right. Coming up next, we do have your email if you wrote some and we chose it. So it's coming up next. AAA Twit.tv 347 show AAA. There are, in fact, 3 of you that I was just speaking to because all 3 of you are in this episode. So when you've got the first email.
Yeah, the first email is from Daniel. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Daniel Chavez. I
think so.
Chavez.
Yeah.
All right. And Daniel's email is about Wear OS. I am one of those who loved Wear OS well over that of the Apple Watch OS and didn't have any issues with it. My only real issue with it was the very short battery life. I switched to the Fitbit Charge 5 for its nearly 2-week battery life. My goodness, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And for its fitness and sleep tracking, which I use daily, but I missed all the control functions of Wear OS, so the two merging to me is amazing. And the only thing that will make it perfect is if, fingers crossed, that the new Pixel Watch can get at least a week's worth of battery life. Oof. I will be there pre-ordering the Pixel Watch the moment that becomes available.
Oh, so what's the likelihood? What's the over-under on the Pixel Watch lasting a week?
Sorry, Daniel. I don't know. I think we'll be lucky if it lasts a day, like on charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I kind of feel the same way. Sorry to bring it down, Daniel.
You don't even know yet.
No, I'm not. I'm a little bit more optimistic. I think it'll hit a day, but I just don't see smartwatches unless something significant changes with the battery technology. I don't see smartwatches doing all the things that they do right now.
They're going to have to be a lot smarter to be able to save battery life. That's all.
I will say I am
from
surprised
optimization.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see. God, that's a lot of optimization that would need to happen for that to happen. Sorry, Rob.
There'll be a lot of it. Yeah, but if anybody can do it, Google can with all their AI and all that, machine stuff. But I will say it is 2022, and I'm surprised how reliant we still are on the old battery stuff. I thought by now there'd be some new battery paradigm, and it's like the size of a nickel, and it gives you a month's worth of charge. Right. I am shocked that hasn't been fixed yet. So
breathe into your phone, and it charges another day. Right. Another day's worth of battery charge by breathing into the phone.
I will say, like with a watch, it's kind of, I get the Fitbit Charge. That's an amazing, by the way, 2-week battery life. Yeah. I'm really jealous. The thing with smartwatches in particular is that, some of the things that take up battery most on your just regular smartphone are things like internet, because that turns on the phone's radio, not like AM FM radio, but the thing that actually makes like network requests, and then Bluetooth, and the constant needing to pull data, that's just going to eat battery. So the fact that it's smart it's just, I think the Fitbit, because it's so task focused, means it can be super optimized, but when you open it up to doing all the things, it needs all the power for all the things. So it's just you can't have your cake and eat it too when it comes to battery and functionality.
Yeah. Based on current technology, unfortunately. But I would love a world where the Pixel Watch lasts a week.
Heck yes.
And if the Pixel Watch came out doing all that it does, and it lasted a week, then we'd have there would be a serious competition going on in wearables. That would be amazing. Yeah. That would be incredible. Yep. Apple would be, falling over themselves trying to figure out how they make the Apple Watch last a week. Because to my knowledge, it doesn't, right? I don't have an Apple Watch, but what does it last? A couple of days?
Yeah. Would be my guess. We got chat saying about a couple days, 1.75 days. Yeah, John Gerard says so. I
know that the Apple Watch usually performs longer than a lot of the smartwatches that are running Android, but I don't think it's any more than 2 days. All right, so Vaughn from Ohio writes in to say, listen to the most recent episode about Post.io, and I have some ideas about the smart glasses. Not only the camera not including the camera is a good thing, I think. It's not needed. I believe smart glasses are best seen as a secondary display for passive information. So when I'm on a 60-mile bike ride, instead of having to turn on my phone screen to see on my app how fast I'm going and what my heart rate is and how long before the next turn, I can just glance to the side of my glasses and see all that information already there. This reduces distraction greatly. It allows me instant access to information while keeping my eyes on the road. I can also see them being useful for silent notifications. All of these things, by the way, Google Glass did in its initial iteration.
Yeah, yep.
The watch is great for a secondary active display for actions you need to do that take 5 to 10 seconds. Reading and responding to a text, changing music volumes, skipping tracks, etc. Plus sensors for health-related things like the Apple Watch. And my words, that touches on what we were just talking about with the previous email. All of those things are the things that eat all that battery. Anyways, other possible use for the glasses would be speech to text for hearing impaired people. Add this to the already built-in live caption function that Google put into their phones. They could absolutely make hard of hearing people's life so much better. And I totally agree. That would be a pretty killer app. Great for accessibility reasons. So, yeah. I just thought that was kind of a good summation of the things that Vaughn actually finds value in for smart glasses. Maybe these glasses that were shown off at I.O. will do all of these things and a whole lot more. But it is interesting, I think, pointing out, not including the camera, my personal experience with Google Glass was that the camera was my favorite part. But I'm one person, I'm if the glasses are amazing in a number of different ways and they don't have cameras, I don't think that kills the product necessarily. I enjoyed recording video from that perspective. I think it's anytime I go back and watch some of the videos that I recorded with Google Glass, it really is like I'm reliving a experience instead of just watching something I recorded on my phone.
They should make two versions. Two versions of Google Glass. That's it. With a camera and without one.
No, with one and without. Yeah. Yeah.
And Jason, you got like some like commercial making life moments with your Google Glass with your kids, right? Like you got like literally like the definition of why you wear this thing.
Yeah. With my younger daughter taking her first steps. Yep. I was wearing Google Glass and she was walking towards me and like looking in my eyes, which meant in the video she's looking at me, and totally. You're right, Ron. Like I actually was kind of wondered after I put that video on social, I was like, is Google going to see this? And like, it's going to end up in a commercial? Because it was like the prime example.
It's the exact shot. Like that we've seen so many of these Google videos.
Yeah,
where they,
totally.
Like, show people using it and like, it's like, holding the kid and the kid walking for the first time.
Yeah.
And, it's just,
it absolutely was.
Yeah. You just need the indie rock guitar or the plinky piano playing in the background.
Yes.
And it's perfect.
Yes. And that particular type font with letters moving in, zooming out. Exactly. Cousin of Jean chat asks, how does she feel about that video nowadays? I assume you're talking about my younger daughter who took her first steps. She is now 9 years old. And
has she taken more steps? Or?
Yes. She's taken a few more steps. I mean, she's seen the video. She thinks it's great. She's very nostalgic. She loves watching videos of the family, and she especially loves watching videos of herself. So yes, she's seen that many times, and she thinks it's really cool. So that's the answer to your question.
I do like Vaughn's interpretation of the glass as part of like the whole ambient computing idea, where you kind of have like computing and search and information available like wherever you go, whether it's on your Nest or your watch. And like as Vaughn mentions, like the watch. So the glass, like this version of glass kind of pays into it where it's not, where it's meant to be kind of like, again, information as where you go and as you need it, almost in a, not predictive, but like ambient, like in almost like in a literal sense with the words popping up like by like people's faces, So I do like that interpretation a lot, but I'm with you. It would be, it would be nice to have options to glass if it ever comes back to like the mainstream. I know glass never left, but if we get like, consumer widespread glasses again.
Yep.
I will say I did laugh because I'm several weeks behind on TV, but me and my wife have been watching the Showtime series about Uber. I don't know if anybody's seen this.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Super pumped. Yeah. With Joseph Gordon-Levitt as that awful guy. But there was a scene at a conference where Google was showing off their self-driving car, and David Krumholz was playing Sergey Brin, and he's at the conference, and he's someone's interviewing about it, and Sergey says, the self-driving car, it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool. He's like, but of course I said that about Google Glass, and everybody laughed. And I was like, wow, that's a deep cut nerd joke.
That is right. But at the same, it is a deep cut nerd joke. But then at the same time, like the Google Glass controversy, if you will, Google Glass gate. Maybe it qualifies as a gate. A lot of non-techie people were aware of that. You know what I mean? Well, okay. Balance that with the fact that I live in the Bay Area, and so I guess that's the lens that I look at it through. But people were very passionately against it from a privacy standpoint. Like, how dare you have glasses or have a camera on your face? You can record everything, and I don't even know that it's happening. So maybe it's less deep than we might imagine. But
too funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, as Jason, as Bay Area-esque people watching that, because they filmed a lot of it in San Francisco, in spots, and that's a trip to watch. It's like watching because it all happened. For me, that was all happening while I was in San Francisco. Hell, there's people on the show that actors are playing that are supposed to be people I know and am friends with, right? Like, it's weird. It's a weird uncanny valley thing happening where, it's very strange, but
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, cool. So I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to do this, but here we are. We're back together again for the email of the week, the sweet sound of the email of the week. And, all right, so we got an email from C.A. Miller, who writes in and says, I enjoyed the recent discussion of the change in the Amazon apps, Audible and Kindle in Android, where you can no longer purchase digital content in the app. I find this to be a major downgrade and much more inconvenient. One thing I haven't seen discussed is something that seems really obvious. Amazon has its own app store for Android. Does anyone have any idea why they won't provide fully functional versions of those apps in their own app store, which isn't limited by Google Play Store requirements and fees? Is the Amazon App Store apparently some sort of dead issue and they are phasing it out maybe? And these are all great questions, C.A. Miller. And I feel like it's also very timely given our earlier point in our conversation about the Kindle Fire and how many people have them out there and things like that. Knowing, and this is completely my speculation, I know, don't talk to anyone on Amazon, Matt, and Hun, I'd love your kind of your feedback as a developer, but managing multiple code bases might get complicated for Amazon in an area of their business that they don't really focus on a lot, like having a version that does this and a version that does that and all that sort of stuff might be too complex. I don't know, maybe not, but I don't know why they wouldn't have a fully functional version available on their devices through their app store, other than maybe, I don't even know why, to be honest. I have no idea. Do you guys have any idea?
Well, I think that's a really, it's something that I hadn't considered is when you are prohibited from, when they remove that functionality from their app because Google says on Android you can no longer do this unless you go through us, and they say, no, we're not going to do that, so they aren't playing ball and they pull it out. I guess the big question is, does Amazon have a different version of their app going forward that they can do that on their own hardware that is running Android, but it's not running Google's Android, it's running a different kind of Android. So it's not like they couldn't do that because it's their own kind of fork of Android. So of course they could.
Don't they already do this though?
But that's my question, because I haven't had a Fire tablet in a long time. So, maybe through the app, it was possible. It used to be possible on Android. Now it's not. But do they have a fork of their own app going on the Fire tablet, or maybe there's a different section in the Fire tablet that you can actually still buy Audible books and books?
I feel like all the Amazon apps are always had less functionality.
That's
than any other version of it, including
So this story is a little weird because it's an Amazon app, right? And we're talking about an Amazon app in the Amazon store. So I think it's a fair question to be like, well, why don't they just make that? But So I will say my first impression is that it's always a numbers game. I mentioned this before, that if there's not a lot of users, it's not going to behoove you to, do what it takes to maintain an app on a non-Google Play store. So for example, Trello was on the Amazon App Store for a while, but it's nothing to have it on there. But the thing that really got us, and I think is going to answer the question of why our apps on the Amazon store stripped down, is that, for one, you cannot get Google Play services unless your app is on Google Play. And Google Play services is the portal, the backend that allows you to get a lot of the advanced Google services like location, like Google Fit, like all these kind of like advanced APIs that Google have. You have to get them through Google Play services, and you have to be on Google Play to get them. So that's why we actually, a big reason why we left the Amazon App Store is that, for example, we have location. Location used to be not part of Google Play services, but I forgot what year it was, but they started bundling it into Google Play services. And there's other things that we do, like, I think, I want to say like marketing related stuff and other kind of services that we want that are on Google Play services only. So if you're an app and you want it to be fully featured and you use a lot of these things, why would you'd have to create a stripped down version for the Amazon App Store or any other third party app store. So,
and it would be two versions.
It would be two versions. Yeah. And so it would be also a design issue, because if, some of these features are integral to your app, then you're gonna have to design a version that, I guess for lack of a graceful way of saying it, a crappier version of your app that omits all these features. So it actually could end up being just basically two different apps, and who wants to do that? And I think I would even say, like, imagine what, even the numbers of Audible, like what are the Audible download numbers on the Amazon App Store, presuming it's there? Is it not there? Sorry, I kind of missed that from.
Oh yeah, Audible's definitely on the.
Okay, so
tablet, the Fire tablets.
So maybe even Amazon of its own app has a numbers issue where they're not getting the downloads on Audible on the Fire tablets or whoever has the Amazon App Store. Maybe they have a numbers issue too, where they have only so many thousands of people, but millions of people have it on, regular Google Play having smartphones. So I wouldn't say it's a dead issue, but it's definitely not. It's not a great. I'm
super curious now to know how that's handled on the Fire tablet, and maybe someone who has a Fire tablet can, maybe someone who gets the very next Fire tablet, because then we know it's been updated. Like if you still have an outdated version, you probably still have the hooks to buy. I would just be really surprised if Amazon said, hey, we've created these tablets that are designed to sell our content, and we're not selling it anymore because on Google's app, on the Google Play Store version of our app, we aren't allowed to sell through the app, so we've removed it.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if they made that decision on their own hardware. Like, there must be another way to buy this stuff on the Amazon tablets.
There's got to be.
It's got to be. But yeah, if you're curious, that's probably why that's kind of also why some of these divisions exist, and why the Amazon App Store might. And it kind of goes back to our other stories, right? About wanting more third party like markets and more freedom. That even if, say, Google was more open and let you have third party markets, by design, those apps are probably going to have a. Oh, sorry.
Did you need me? Did you? I'm here. What do you need?
Did I hot phrase?
I'm here to help.
My goodness.
I've been so bored. I've been so bored listening to you talk about Android. Could you just ask me a question?
Stop smack talking my daddy, like, kind of stuff. But yeah, it's weird because we kind of complain about this, but there's a lot of, apart from the fact that, the Play billing policy are what they are, there's a lot of other mechanisms that kind of force us, or at least behoove us to focus all of our efforts onto Google Play. That's, the case in point. We were like, okay, we're not going to support Amazon Store because we just don't have the numbers, and it's not, the extra hours we spend on that could be spent on something else. So now that I say that, I was like, wow, yep, it's that's how it is, y'all. Sometimes
that's how it is.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Have fun with your fire tablet.
That's just the way it is.
Oh, not another song in my head. Oh, God.
There you go.
Make a mashup by the end of this episode.
Yeah. All right. So that was our email of the week. Very decisive.
Burke was like, we're done. Right on. C.A. Miller, congratulations. You got us thinking, and we appreciate that. AAA@twit.tv for anyone else who wants to get those horns, that salute for your amazing email. Send us an email. Let us know what's on your mind. Oh, yeah. All right. And with that last sounding of the horn, we are done with this show. We have reached the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening. What do you want to leave people with? What you got cooking right now?
Just the usual kind of stuff. You can find any technical content I have on Android development at my website, randomlytyping.com. And you can find me daily just babbling about Android and other things on Twitter and Instagram at QueenCodeMonkey.
Queen Code Monkey.
C'est moi.
That's your theme song. If Twitter ever allows for a theme song to be attached to your profile, you can just clip that out, and you have permission.
That's perfect, Jason. That's all I need.
There you go.
That's perfect.
It's a future. It's coming in the future. Thank you. And what about you, Ron?
Yeah, so you can go follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm at RonXO there. And if you're looking for something else to listen to, want a little entertainment talk, head over to ifanboy.com, where this month's Media Explode podcast that I joined on, me and the guys, we talked about what we've been watching. I talked a little bit about Picard and Star Trek Discovery, but then the main thrust of the conversation of the podcast was about Winning Time, which is, I think, Jason, I mentioned this on the show recently, the LA Lakers show on HBO. So I encourage everybody to go check that out. And you can go over to ifanboy.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast, and you can hear it there as we talk about a very cool show on HBO.
Do you have to be a huge fan of basketball to appreciate it?
No, not at all. And John C. Reilly's and honestly the entire cast, Adrian Brody, Jason Segel, and people you've never even heard of or seen in other things. It's really. I'm not a basketball fan at all, and the show was one of the best shows of the year that I've watched so far.
Really?
So
okay. All right.
Strongly recommend.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
Nice.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I will
Very
add
well
it
done.
to my list. Nice.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Burke here in the studio, pushing buttons, making it happen. Not pushing the fireworks button. I'm still kind of, not forgiving you for that, but we'll work on it. Oh, well, we're halfway there. Living on a prayer. And then also thanks to Victor, who's even more behind the scenes, editing this show, turning it around, putting it into a podcast feed so that you can listen and watch any way you choose. So thank you for all the work you do. You can find me at Jason Howell on Twitter. You can find me doing Tech News Weekly every Thursday, twit.tv/TNW with Micah Sargent. We have a lot of fun with that show. And I think that's kind of all I have right now. Don't forget Club Twit. How could you forget Club Twit? Because it's awesome. Twit.tv/Club Twit, $7 a month. All of our shows with no ads. You get exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed, tons of extra content. And then you also get access to the members only Discord, where you get amazing animated GIFs like John Bon Jovi on stage saying, "Whoa, we're halfway there." See how timely that was? It was perfect. Twit.tv/Club Twit. It's amazing. And we've reached the end of the episode. Twit.tv/AAA. That's where you go to find all the information about this show. We do this show every Tuesday. So if you're subscribed, you don't have to go hunting for the episode. It'll appear in your podcatcher like magic. We hope that you do that. Thank you so much for watching and listening, everybody. And, maybe think twice about getting this case. If you're getting the Pixel 6a and they release these cases, think twice.
Wow. There's a strong condemnation on the cases there for Jason at the end of the show.
That's right.
Harsh.
We're leaving you with that. See you next time. Bye, everybody.
So long.
See ya.
Did you spend a lot of money on your brand new smartphone and then you look at the pictures on Facebook and Instagram and you're like, what in the world happened to that photo? Yes. You have, I know. It happens to all of us. Well, you need to check out my show, Hands On Photography, where I'm going to walk you through simple tips and tricks that are going to help make you get the most out of your smartphone camera or your DSLR or mirrorless, whatever you have, and those shots are going to look so much better. I promise you. So make sure you're tuning in to twit.tv/hop for hands-on photography to find out more.